for me. You should
That's
see the chicken
amazing.
scrap that I drew, though. And I was like, you nailed it. That is
I'm
exactly what I
so glad.
wanted.
And I like the
Oh,
colors too. The colors are. Alrighty. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. No problem. I'm going to go close the door. There's
okay.
really no one here, but I always close the door. And it's okay. It'll be fine. So there's going to be a little bit of music. And then I'll throw the camera for those. Hi, I'm Sue. Welcome to Fireside Chat. I am so pleased to welcome my good friend from Timothy D. Robinson Foundation. This is Devona Robinson. Welcome to Fireside
Thank
Chat.
you.
Thank you for being here. The Timothy D. Robinson Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising awareness of pulmonary fibrosis lung disease and lung transplants. They are a donation-based foundation that will help provide patients and families with medical equipment, treatment, food, lodging, gas, and any other necessities, as well as education and support. With the knowledge and resources available, as well as from support from their community, they have some amazing partners. They are committed to helping families in need during their own journey. So if you'd like to read more about Timothy and his journey with pulmonary fibrosis, their website is timothydrobinsonfoundation.org. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So so just tell me how you came to create this. I think this is just lovely.
Yes. So, first and foremost, I'm Devonna Robinson. I was married to Timothy D. Robinson. He passed away in 2021. So, he had a very long battle from 2025 to 2021 with pulmonary fibrosis. So after his passing, my goal was to help raise awareness about pulmonary fibrosis, and B, be a support for other families going through the process. Because he had so many doctor visits, he had so many hospital visits, from lodging to food to gas. Like, I couldn't imagine a family having to go through that, try to work and pay bills at the same
Oh
time.
my goodness.
So we
Yeah.
were blessed where we, were able to afford me off for 5 years to help take care of him. But I thought
Wow.
about all the other families that would not be allowed to do that and be
Right.
with their loved ones
And
during
you
this
want to
time.
be with him, and he depends on the, not going through it all alone.
Exactly.
Right.
He needed the support. He needed the love to just be, not alone.
No, because you want to sort of relax. Like, it's such a terrifying thing. If anybody has ever experienced being short of breath or not being able to take a full breath,
Yes.
it's really terrifying inside your mind. You're like, oh my gosh, and you kind of like panic, and it's just this huge anxiety. And there's certain triggers, I think, that make it worse.
Yes.
And so he wasn't born with it, though, right?
No, he was a Marine. So they're thinking he got it when he was stationed overseas from the pollution.
Oh my God.
Never
that's so
smoked.
sad.
So they believed it was from the air pollution
Oh no.
that started scarring his lungs.
And then I think I asked you if it's something that can start silently, like it was something that doesn't have immediate symptoms.
Correct. He started off with just a dry cough. So he probably thought it was just allergies. He was going to the doctor getting tested. They really couldn't find anything. So it wasn't years until after they figured out that his lungs were scarring, which was causing the fibrosis. So it was years after testing and testing and testing.
So cystic fibrosis is like, I guess, like cysts and
Right. But it's still a fibrosis.
Still a
So it's still,
fibrosis.
yes, it's still scarring of the lungs.
and it's really hard for lungs to expand and
Yes, when they're scarring, because once
Right.
the scar tissue starts scarring your lungs, it closes up your air pockets in your lungs.
And
So
we
it's
need-
making it harder and harder to breathe.
oh my God. So, but it would take a long time, I guess, to go from beginning to, oh my goodness, we have to do something about
Yes.
it.
But again, you got to remember everybody's story is different. So it affects other people faster than others. His was a very slow process, but once it started to affect him even more, it really like took him down for a while. He was on oxygen 24 hours a day, barely could do
No.
activities because of so much oxygen that it took to do regular activities that we take for granted. I mean, just putting on your clothes. Just getting out of bed was a whole process.
Like we're not talking walking across. Like
Right. I'm
no.
talking about just basic needs. So when he was in the hospital, I used to go and visit him. I used to shower him and like I literally had to bathe him.
Wow, because he
So
couldn't.
because he couldn't, he was out of breath and it would get so low, his oxygen, that he thought he was going to pass out.
That's
And
a
of course,
terrible
we didn't want
feeling.
that. Right.
No, because they're so afraid of falls too at a hospital, aren't they?
Exactly. And then for him, the one thing that made me really realize what he was going through is he said he felt like he was suffocating.
Oh,
So imagine getting suffocated by your own lungs.
when you're not even like what's the word? Exerting yourself,
Right.
just living, right?
Right,
trying
just
to get
normal
out of the
everyday.
bed and, like, oh my God, it's tragic.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you saw a need because you know what? I think there isn't enough information out there, so I'm really glad you started the foundation.
Right. As I'm raising awareness about it, even those who have it feel like there's not enough information. There's not enough
Absolutely.
support groups. There's not enough people talking about it. There's not enough people talking about all the testing that they have to do to even get on the transplant list or to stay on the transplant list. Like it's a whole like
It's like a different
it's a
world,
different world that people just don't talk about. And then after transplant, people think that you're okay, that you're fine after transplant, and that's not the case because now your body is trying to reject some foreign objects that you have put into your body.
Oh my goodness.
So,
after all the waiting
After
and everything.
all the waiting and you're breathing normal again, right? And now I have a whole nother set of issues.
It's crazy, isn't it? That's
Right.
a lot. Like, I'm so grateful that you were able to devote like a good 5, 10 plus years to actually deal with it with him.
Oh yeah, I was happy to be by his side, especially when he
Wow.
finally had, I used to get him out the house all the time in his wheelchair because he couldn't walk much, right, without exerting himself. So I would get him out in the wheelchair because I don't want you to stop living
Right.
because of your condition.
Completely.
So I would take him out, and then after he got his first transplant in 2017, he hit the ground running. We were traveling, we were really living it up. That's why I love to tell people, live life, right? What are you waiting for?
Absolutely.
Because you just never know, right? So that's what he
No.
did.
So
And we did it together.
I'm so glad. And I'm really glad that you had the attitude, let's just go.
Just go.
Right?
Just go. Stuff will be here when we get back. Things are going to happen regardless, right?
Exactly.
Let's go.
So, by applying to be a board member of the foundation, how can people help if they'd like to apply?
They can get on my website and apply because most of the time I need volunteers for
Okay.
events. I try to do a lot of events at least every other month.
Okay.
We have one big event every year, which is coming up in September on the 13th,
Okay.
that I always need volunteers for as well. And then
Okay.
that's to help raise awareness, help pass out flyers, packages, and just really spread the word for other families, right? Other
Yes.
patients to let them know you do have some support out here.
What date in September, please?
It's September the 13th.
And what day of the week is that?
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. And do you have a venue already?
Yes.
You're narrowing it down. You do have a venue?
Yep, I'll be posting that as well.
Very good. Okay. So
Or they can
then-
follow me on social media at Timothy D. Robinson Foundation too. I post a lot of our activities on there.
Okay. So, yeah, so if you could just be a volunteer, then you can actually help get the word out and
Yes.
attend the event, right, and learn. Because I can imagine people would come and they'd be like, so what is it like? And how can I help? You have extraordinary partners from Body Fitness, Gift of Life Michigan, Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation, Hamilton for Life, Body Restore. That's incredible. That's a
Yes.
lot of support.
I'm really trying to cover the whole total wellness portion of it because one thing my husband did is he was an advocate of getting mental health through his condition.
God, yeah.
He was an advocate of putting in the work, whether it was physical work. He would try to get on the treadmill. So you have to keep yourself as active as possible. He had his will done, power of attorney done.
Oh my
Like
gosh,
we
he's
really
so
need to get
organized.
everything in order.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's why when I'm
awesome.
looking for partnerships, I'm looking for the whole total wellness, well-being of
Right.
what we need.
Because
So-
people would need to get all of those things done.
all of those things done, and we shouldn't wait until we get a diagnosis for it, right?
No, we
we
really
should not
shouldn't.
wait. And so he had all those things in order, and I just want to share with everybody else to just take a few moments, get those things taken care of, and
Yeah.
just continue to live life.
And then you don't worry about it
Yeah,
because it's
don't
done,
have to worry
right?
about it. It's done.
So, so that's amazing that you have, even like the website, and then people can email you if they have a question. So it's going to be Timothy D. Robinson Foundation at
Gmail, yes,
gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
Okay, that's great.
And
So,
most of the time it's me reaching out. I do have an assistant that reaches out as well, but most of the time I reach out to people as well.
okay. So, if you're a corporation or you're a private person and you want to sponsor, you do offer sponsorships, and that would give people priority placement on materials. They would be recognized during the event.
Yes.
And you would get some complimentary tickets. That's very generous. And of course, you want people to be there in person because, if, like, say they're a corporation, they might be able to have other connections that could make themselves available to you.
Correct.
That may not have found you otherwise. So I really like the way that you have like lots of ways to raise awareness. But it's just like it must have been really hard because he was fine before.
Yes, he was fine when we first met. He was fine. Like, we didn't meet until 2010.
Okay.
And then by that time, he was fine. He looked fine to me. Like, he told me about his disease immediately, and I'm looking at him like, well, you look good.
Yeah, and it was 2005, right? I'm
Like,
so glad.
you look good. So here it is, 5 years later, I think you look pretty good. So I was sticking by it. But he made me aware of what his disease was and what, his future might look like. And I found out very soon on in our relationship on what that looked like. But I still was ready to stand by his side through it, right? Like, I would want somebody to do that for me.
Totally.
So why on earth would I leave when,
Oh my God. Yeah,
he's
no.
going through his? So.
I really get the feeling that you wanted to be there for him.
Oh, I did want to be there for
You
him.
know,
I wanted to
so-
support him. Like, he was just that lovable kind of guy
Yeah.
that you want to support him.
Yeah.
Because he still was trying to do everything he possibly could to make sure that I was okay during his sickness.
Oh my goodness.
So-
Okay, that's like unbelievably,
Yeah.
compassionate, even going through something that he's thinking about. Are you all right? Have you eaten? Have
All
you
the
right?
time.
How did
Like,
you sleep?
even when he went through his double lung transplant, they said, so I let his mother and children go in first to see him, and I waited. And as soon as they went in, his first thing was like, where's my wife? Is she okay? And I'm like, you just went through a major surgery.
Does it get like more
I am fine. Are
intricate
you
than-
okay?
Oh my goodness. So it's wonderful that he was, consciously, like, because you want them to actually, like, you wanted them to be okay, like, are you okay?
Right.
So thank God he kind of woke up and everything. That's
Oh,
great.
he was in his right mind for sure. Now, he had to write because, of course, he had tubes down his throat and all that stuff. So he wanted a pen and paper, and he was writing. So-
that's, yeah, what a relief though for you, because double lung it's one of the most, I can't imagine how intricate that surgery.
Right.
Right?
To see the scars was like, oh my goodness, they just opened you right up, right?
Unbelievable. So
And a lot of people still don't know that you can have double lung transplants.
I didn't
though.
know that.
Yes.
Like
so
double, like maybe one, maybe right if you're
Both.
lucky. I like, oh my God,
Both.
that's just. So, did you have to have more than one surgeon, perhaps assisting? It sounds like.
yeah, because it's a pretty long process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was over the first time, it was about maybe 10, 12 hours.
Wow.
So it was a very long procedure.
How long is the recovery from double lung transplant? Like, is it months? Is it a year?
So everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
Timothy actually walked out of the hospital in 2 weeks.
He did it. No way.
He walked
Such a
out,
strong
not
person.
even in a wheelchair, and I started crying because I was so used to wheeling him around in a wheelchair. And so when I picked him up at the door of the hospital,
yeah.
he got up and was at the door, and I'm just like,
Oh my
whoa.
God, is that him? Like, am I like seeing?
Like, is this really real? So for him, it was 2 weeks. I have talked to others. It was months, year. It just depends. It depends on how well your surgery goes. It depends on if you get an infection. It just depends on a lot of things. So for him, it was 2 weeks in the hospital and he was out the door. Now, of course, he had to take it easy
For
to
sure.
heal, but he was walking.
He's
he
a
walked
Marine,
out the hospital.
man.
He was a
Right?
Marine.
He's
okay.
a Marine. Like, they have such an
It
incredible
had came
strength.
out.
Like,
Yes.
it's like this core of strength that is just, it's who they are.
Yes. He was a
Right?
fighter. Because even the second time when they told him that, because he was having, in 2021, he started having flu-like symptoms.
Okay.
And it was COVID time, right? So they kept testing him for
that's
COVID.
right.
And that wasn't it. And finally, they figured out he was having rejection again. And so they basically was telling him there was nothing else they could do for him. But him being a Marine, he was like, well, why can't I get back on the transplant list again? And I'm like, oh, you want to go through that again? And he was like, yeah. He was like, I don't want to just lay here and not do anything.
Right.
And if that is my only option, I want to do that. And so they went through all the testing again, got him back on the list. And by September, they were calling him again. Now, that one didn't go as well, but that was his choice.
Yeah.
That
And
was
he
his
was-
choice.
he
And
was
he
doing
wanted
what
to do
he-
everything he possibly could.
Right? Because it's like you don't want to be powerless.
Yeah. I want to have an option. You telling me I don't have an option? I think I do have an option, and I want
Yeah.
to try that.
Gosh.
So he
That's
made that
incredible.
suggestion.
So like there's literally a donor list where like they put like people who are more like serious and probably in need, like is there kind of an order?
Yes, it's a number system. It's based on a whole bunch of different things. That's why you have to go and have your PT. You have to go and do walks. You have to go and get all these tests done because that is how they determine what level or what number that you are to be on what part of the list. You know, whether you're moving up the ladder or
Right.
whatever that may be.
Right.
And if it's more serious, of course, you move up as well. So
I mean,
he had
'cause-
to continue to go through all that too.
So how long do you have to take immunosuppressant drugs? Like is it from
Oh,
there on
forever.
out?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Forever.
And so how do they know if the body is beginning to kind of reject? Like what's the symptoms that he's unable to
Well,
breathe?
for him, it was bad coughing again.
Yeah.
And he was getting shortness of breath again. It was almost like I said, to me, the best I can describe it that I went through was flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, but it wasn't
You were
COVID.
feeling sick. Yeah, he was feeling sick again, coughing, thought it was a cold, flu, or COVID maybe. And it was literally his lungs were rejecting again. So,
That's just wow. To go through so much, right?
right. And we knew the second one was going to be a little more riskier, right? Because now they got to go back in for the second time. But again, that was his choice.
Yeah. Were you with him when he passed?
Yes. So
Thank God.
it was COVID time. No one else could be at the hospital. And how I knew it had got serious was his doctor was supposed to be off that day. He had told me the day before he was going to be off. Well, he came in and he wanted to talk to me. And I knew it then because I'm like, why are you
would he
here?
come in? Yeah.
So he explained to me what was going on. I went in the room and he stood there the whole entire time with me. And he walked me through the process while they unhooked him.
What a good man.
Yeah. I I wrote him a letter. I've been trying to reach him ever since because I'm like, you just don't understand how grateful I am to have somebody walk me through that process as I'm visually watching it and as I'm standing there feeling alone. But he walked me through that.
And he let you come in and be with him.
He let me
'cause-
come in. He told me, he's like, hold his hand, and this is what's going to happen. And I did. And I felt immediately like when you take your vows, it says to death do us part. Like I literally stood there
Until
to that death do us part. But he's forever in my heart. Like my every day is to raise awareness and he is my motivation because I want people to know that you can fight. Everybody's story is different. One of my speakers that come to my event, he had a double lung transplant twice and he's doing amazing. And he's one of my speakers that come every year. Whether he speaks or not, he's going to be there.
Yes.
And so I want people to know that everybody's story is different. Everybody's story is different.
Are there certain foods and things like that that he'd have to avoid after
Yes.
having? Yeah.
Yes. Of course, he couldn't eat raw food. Sushis, that's raw. They
Okay.
highly recommend you don't eat any of that with the parasites and stuff in it.
Wow.
So
Oh, I
it was
see.
a lot of things that he had to watch. And to cut back on germs, they highly recommend that you bring your own like plastic silverware and don't eat off of, regular silverware that they wash and stuff.
Okay.
So it was a lot of things. Of course, using sanitizer. He was doing the mask things forever before we literally had to wear masks. So when COVID hit, he was like, now everybody is over here in my world.
Yes,
Because that's what he
exactly.
literally had to do. You have to watch
Exactly.
your germs. You can't shake everybody's hand. You can't kiss on everybody,
No.
right?
I mean, even
you
just
can't
like-
touch on everything
like a
without
hug?
washing your hands.
Is that risky for him?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very risky.
That's risky for
Yeah, he
him.
took the chance to do it, of course, with some of his loved ones. But usually when people came over, I would ask them to wash their hands at least. And if you
Absolutely.
think you got somewhat of a cold, don't tell me it's allergies. Please stay away.
Oh my God! It's because you know
Please
what
stay
I
away.
always felt like when COVID, we're getting educated on it. I feel like the most, like, I feel like terrifying outcome of, like, would be that COVID would affect somebody with breathing problems.
Yes.
That would be, and especially immunosuppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Like, that's like A1 priority. We have to keep these people safe because they have nothing to fight with.
Right.
Right.
But we know even COVID caused issues with the lungs because people were still coughing months after they supposedly didn't have it anymore. So,
like long COVID symptoms.
yeah, long-term COVID symptoms.
Really
So,
afraid of that.
of
because
course, there's a bunch of research going on for that as well, checking people's lungs and making sure they're not, in that fibrosis stage.
You've never had asthma yourself.
Well, when I usually get a cold,
Yeah.
I usually have breathing issues at that time where I have had to use my inhaler for, but it's nothing long term that I have to use anything in between, thank God.
Yeah.
But
and-
yes, so in those moments, and I used to think about that, like when I'm sick, right?
Right,
So I couldn't
right.
imagine being sick for years.
Like, I can't imagine. And that the inhaler doesn't take it away. Like,
yeah.
So I think you have a lot of compassion because you know what it feels like to struggle to
To
breathe.
not be able to breathe, yes.
Yeah.
And
my
to be
goodness.
sick in the bed and don't want to get out of the bed.
No,
So
definitely.
imagine that for years
my
and you're still trying to
goodness.
live somewhat of a normal life.
Where did you go for your trips?
Oh my God. So Mexico, Cabo was
Okay.
our favorite. And only because it was both of our first time parasailing.
Oh my goodness. You had to hold on to a thing and you're like, oh my goodness. Isn't that so scary?
It was so So, okay, I was scared going up, but it was so peaceful.
Oh, that's lovely.
Looking down at the water and being up in the air, it was this peace. I'm a water person. I'm a
Beautiful.
Pisces.
You're a water baby.
So,
yes, me too. Oh,
I was
that's
like, this
just
is peaceful.
lovely.
It was very peaceful. So we got to do a lot of things for the first time together. And I think that was the most happiest, joyful parts of our relationship. Like we had been through, before my husband asked me to marry him, he was like, you know how you wonder if somebody's going to be there for better or for worse?
Yeah.
He was like, you've already been here for my worse.
So, like, it's going to be all right.
We're going to be
because
fine.
You're like, imagine the fun
we're going to be
times,
fine.
right?
So,
I'm so glad. I'm very glad that that you found such a beautiful soul who loves
yes.
you. Because, like some people, they leave kind of footprints on our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you hadn't married him, I think you'd never forget him.
Yes.
Right? You would probably still pray for him. And you'd be
Yes.
like, I wonder how he's doing. And, right? And because, like, he's a special soul to, like, I think it's even harder when you're, like, so strong. Like, to be a Marine, it's even harder for them to sort of have to be, in a sense, weaker because that's not in their DNA.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So it's like it's really tough. Like but he just he powered on through
He did.
transplants. Like let's do
He
it again.
did.
Like he's like David Goggins, right? Like they
Right.
just like nothing stops them.
Right. Right. Because he didn't like for people to see him in that stage.
Yeah.
Whether it was family, whether it
identity.
was friends, it could be the neighbor. Like
Yeah.
he did not want people to see him that way. That's not how he wanted him to be remembered as, right?
Right.
So it was always a struggle for him. So his goal was to stay as healthy as possible and do all he could do to be healthy.
Absolutely. Is it something you can be born with, or is it?
Well, so
Toxins and
at
things?
first they said it's toxin in the air. It could be allergies and other things. But of course, the more research that they're doing, because I go to research clinics at least every other year,
Wow.
they are thinking it could be genetic as well, because there's multiple people in the same family, like first generations, that are exhibiting those same symptoms.
Okay.
So with research getting further and further, I think they are finding out it could be.
Wow.
But for him and a few other people that I know, they have pinpointed it to what caused it.
Right.
And like I said, it could be allergic reaction to something that they didn't know that they actually had that was going on for years. Or it could be air pollution in another country, which he
Yeah.
was stationed in. So
Yeah. Do you ever have a dream with him? Do you ever like wake up and think, oh my gosh, I feel like I was with him?
yes, I do. And a lot of times I've been awake and I just feel like he's here, like
Right.
his presence
His presence.
is here.
I love that.
right? And he's
Love
like,
that
keep
so
going.
much.
Like, I'm proud of you for what you're
Oh
doing
my
and to
God, he must
continuing
be so
what you're doing and raising awareness, because he was too busy fighting for life that he didn't have a chance to tell his story. He didn't have a chance to advocate for himself. So for me to carry that torch and say, okay, well, I am from this point on, from the day of your passing, because I started the foundation really quickly after his passing. He passed in October of 2021, and by May of 2022, I was already starting my 501c3
Wow.
because I had already knew that this is what my next calling was going to be.
It's like destiny. Like you were meant to meet him, and
Yeah.
you were meant to carry the torch
Oh,
forward.
yeah.
It's just it's actually a lovely way of living your life. I think you're just an extraordinary soul.
Thank
and,
you.
You're so welcome.
Thank
You know
you.
what I mean? Like it's just nice to tell somebody, hey, listen, like I can't imagine what you've been through, but I'm so glad that you feel his presence, because that's for you forever.
Yes.
Like you're always, you're always together, and it's like, maybe he's smiling on us right now and
Right.
thinking, look at my girl, she's
Right.
on TV. Look at my girl. Doesn't she
Right.
look so pretty? It's like,
Right, because that's what he called me, beautiful.
oh,
That was
is
my
good for you.
nickname for him. And he used to tell people it's not because of the outside, it's because of her heart. Like, she's beautiful from the inside out. Because I was always there. You
Are
know
you
what I
a
mean?
caring
Like,
kind of person naturally?
very caring,
Yeah.
naturally, yes.
Yeah.
Very caring.
What did you do as like work while you were going through all of this? Like, were you guys able to kind of take a leave of absence, or did you just do like? Were you able to still continue to work a
So
little
I was in
bit?
cosmetology. So I just completely quit for 5 years.
That's awesome. So you
and
could
I didn't go
actually-
back. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't go back
because
afterwards.
there's this important work to be
Yeah,
done.
I
right?
have too much important now. My clients would say
goodness.
otherwise. Like,
Yeah.
are you coming back? Because like they asked me instantly after his passing, "You're coming back?" And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like my journey is something else now, and that's not it. So, but I'm
Incredible.
still in health and wellness. I'm a manager at a massage
Very good.
salon.
Very
So
good.
yes, I'm still in health and wellness, and I try to educate people just on the wellness of massage. Like he used to,
Yes.
I had a girl come to the house and give him a massage, and to me, like that helped him so much with his breathing.
I can't imagine.
So massaging his upper back, massaging his chest. So I'm really into this health and wellness right now. That's my journey right
Oh,
now.
I'm so glad. Yeah, because you know what? Like, it almost gives you permission to just relax.
yeah,
Right?
because
So-
it takes that stress away,
Yeah.
that anxiety away.
And you know how, like, when you're like, your shoulders are up and someone says to you,
Yes.
drop your shoulder, and you're like, I didn't realize they were up?
Yep.
Or, like, if there's, like, some tension in your face, like, or something like that, and you're like, I have to relax my forehead, I have to relax, right? Like, if you
Yes.
do a meditation, then they're, like, always, like, they're kind of checking in with different parts of your body so that you can kind of, like, let go a little
Yeah.
bit, right?
But that's what massage did for him. Like, because he was in such pain all the time and just anxiety, he was always like this. So once he got
Yes.
his massages once a week, like all that
Whew,
just whew,
right?
went
Like,
away. He looked better, sound better. He could walk around. Like those was that once a week
miracle.
was like wonderful for him. So
That's amazing, and I'm glad that he had somebody who actually like appreciated what he was going through, so she could adapt exactly what she's doing in real time,
yeah.
according to his breath and all that. And then she probably would be so happy that she felt the relaxation.
She did. She talks about it now. She said, I really enjoyed massaging your husband because she was in the military too.
Oh, that's
She wasn't a Marine, but
lovely.
she still was in the military. And she was like, I really enjoyed talking to him.
Because they have stories,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it really, a lot of them, it changes them for life. But it's so extraordinary that both of you are such strong, beautiful souls, found each other, just at the right time, and that, he's never going to leave you. You know what I
Right.
mean? He's never going to leave you. There is no one else. Like, there's no other. Where would he go? Like, harp lessons?
Right.
Go sing in the choir? Like, no, he's going to want to come to the Timothy D Foundation.
Right, right.
The event and whatever, and maybe today. But what a pleasure
Thank
talking
you
with
so
you.
much.
Thank you so
I really
much
enjoyed
for
our
coming.
conversation.
So me too. I'm just thrilled for you that you're able to actually spend the time the last several years, like that you were able to really dedicate yourself, dedicate your life, and now kind of like, let's take it to the next level. And so I really wanted to give you a platform and to give you, like a voice, and because you can always show this to people and they can really understand, how you came to this, to this challenge, because, you already were a loving, compassionate person, but I feel like now you're powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, what a great use of power.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
So, what a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming here today. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the foundation. The information's on the screen. And if you'd like to email with any questions, Timothy D. Robinson Foundation, all spelled out, .org.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Not bad, right?
You're right.
I'm so glad. I'm really glad I asked you about do you still feel alone, because I don't think that we just go to nothing. I believe that it's like another side of the veil, and they can